I've got huge news for you. The SEC has approved in-kind creation and redemptions for crypto ETFs, and Senator Lummis introduces a massive bill that will impact crypto's place in getting mortgages. And Etoro has launched tokenized stocks, and a massive Wall Street player is looking to launch a stablecoin. I'll give you all the details. Let's get into it. Hey folks, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, there's nothing new to report on the price as we've been discussing, and as we covered in this morning's live stream, we're waiting for Bitcoin to finish the consolidation, for altcoins to finish the consolidation, and then I believe we're going to go higher. Now, we could dip a bit lower, so just make sure you are prepared for that, especially as we have the FOMC meeting tomorrow, and the market could get very volatile. So be prepared for a short-term downward price movement, but we are ultimately going to higher highs. We're still in a macro bull market, and I do anticipate that the Fed will not cut rates tomorrow, but we could get some dovish signals from Jerome Powell that they may cut in September, and that may be the fuel the markets need. I don't know what's going to happen, but let's see. That's what I'm personally thinking, and I want to share that with you guys. So as far as price, nothing major. But folks, we got some bullish news I want to share with you. First up, SEC Chairman Paul Atkins tweeted out, "I am pleased to share the SEC has approved in-kind creations and redemptions for crypto ETFs. The approvals continue to build a rational regulatory framework for crypto, leading to a deeper and more dynamic market, which will benefit all investors." This is huge. If you had caught my interviews with a lot of the ETF experts, one of the things we were talking about is in-kind creations and redemptions, where you can redeem your assets in kind, meaning not cash, but if you, for example, had a Bitcoin ETF, you could get Bitcoin if you did that redemption. So this is very bullish, especially for the spot ETFs. And it could be why we were seeing the SEC not approve the rest of the ETFs, the index ETFs, and even XRP and Solana and much more. Those spot ETFs are still in play, and the deadline is October. So this could be one of the factors that we're holding things back. The other could be they're waiting for Congress to pass the Clarity Act, the market structure bill, before approving. So we'll see, but this is very bullish and a big signal from the SEC that they are working and that they're not dragging their feet here. So I like what I'm seeing here, very bullish with the market. Now, Senator Cynthia Lummis, who's very bullish on crypto, she introduced a bill today, and she said, "I'm proud to introduce the 21st Century Mortgage Act to make home ownership more accessible for young Americans who are embracing the digital age." The TLDR here for this bill is to allow many of the younger investors who hold crypto assets to have those assets be reviewed if they're applying for a mortgage, to make home affordability more accessible. Obviously, this is not the only thing to make home affordability accessible, but if this asset class is growing, it's getting legalized in a sense of legislation, and it has regulation, it should be reviewed as an asset when you're looking to borrow money, whether it's for a mortgage for a house or a car loan and much more. So let me read a bit of the excerpt here on her website. It says the legislation would direct the Federal National Mortgage Association, Fannie Mae, and Federal Home Loan Mortgage Corporation, Freddie Mac, to include digital assets recorded on a cryptographically secure distributed ledger as part of their mortgage risk assessments for single-family home loans. This bill would prohibit forcing the conversion of these assets into dollars, respecting the nature of digital wealth. That is huge. So one of the things we talked about is if you're holding some crypto long term and you're looking to, once again, get a loan or whatever it may be, you can use your crypto. And if the government is doing on the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac front, the banks are going to follow. Your JP Morgans, your Wells Fargo, these companies that issue loans for buying a car or a house and things like that. So folks, this is huge because it will allow more people to come into the market, hold the asset, and be able to use that asset like they do other assets out there, right? Because when you go apply for a loan, you show all the assets you have, whether that be real estate, stocks, what's in your bank account, yada, yada, right? So this is really great and very bullish for the market. Now, speaking of banks, this is huge news. RakBank becomes the first UAE bank to offer crypto. Retail users can now trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and XRP directly in the AED. Banks, stock exchanges, financial institutions around the globe are adopting crypto at a rapid pace. And as I just mentioned, legislation being put into place is going to allow them to go all in. They've been waiting on the sidelines. They've been fighting the crypto startups for years with Gary Gensler and Elizabeth Warren. And now legislation's finally here and they're going to launch their own stablecoins. They're going to launch crypto custody, crypto trading. So don't be surprised if your bank calls you up and says, hey, we're offering crypto trading and we'll provide the statements, the white glove service, we'll custody it for you. You don't have to worry, just like you do in your checking and savings account and so on and so forth, folks. Get ready, that's coming. We are seeing banks and massive financial institutions globally adopting crypto. Incredible stuff. Folks, quick word from our sponsor, and that is Proppy. Proppy is leading the charge with putting real estate on chain. I just shared the news with Senator Lummis and the mortgage backed by crypto and all these things to be reviewed if you want to get a loan. And Proppy is looking to disrupt the largest asset class out there, which is real estate. We know all assets will be tokenized. It's as BlackRock's Larry Fink said, tokenization is the future of finance. Well, Proppy allows you to buy and sell homes on the blockchain, and you can sell it for crypto assets. So if you want to sell your house for Bitcoin or XRP or Ethereum, you can do that through Proppy. And they've been around since 2017. They're licensed. They facilitated over $4 billion in transactions. They put deeds on chain. They've put or created NFTs for properties, and they use Coinbase for the crypto escrow service. One of their big investors is Tim Draper, who's of course a billionaire investor, and I've had him on the podcast, and he's a big believer in Bitcoin, and he's invested in Proppy for a long time. And I'm a Proppy token holder. I have been since 2018, because when I discovered this project, I realized, wait a minute, if all these assets are going on chain, what about real estate? No one else is doing this. And I found Proppy was doing it. And I took a bet and bought the token, and I still hold it to this day. I believe it's going to do well. It's already been doing well in this bull market. So folks, if you'd like to learn more, go to proppy.com. Link will be in the description. Now, folks, look at this. Etoro to tokenize 100 of the most popular US stocks on Ethereum. Etoro, I've had the CEO, Yoni Asia, on the podcast many times over the years. I plan to interview him very soon because Etoro did do a public listing in the United States recently. I believe it was on the NASDAQ. And look at the direction the puck is heading in. They're going to bring stocks on chain. Like I've been saying, right? We've been talking about it. All of it will run on chain. The token economy, 24/7 trading, truly global markets, more liquidity coming in and opening up DeFi opportunities with these tokenized stocks and other assets. So the company plans to offer the most popular US stocks as ERC20 tokens on the Ethereum network, enabling 24/5 trading and DeFi integration. It is amazing what is taking place in this market and the infrastructure that's being built. So according to Etoro, users will eventually be able to transfer tokenized stocks off the platform into self-custody or DeFi protocols. Yes, that is 100% the objective here, a spokesperson told Cointelegraph. Users can buy a tokenized stock on Etoro, redeem it to the Etoro wallet, and from there to their own wallet, etc., and then bring it back to Etoro if they wish. This right here is the model. This is the future. It's exciting, and it's going to open up a lot of investment opportunities for people around the globe who have not been able to get access to the New York Stock Exchange and some of these stocks, right? If you're in some country in Africa, or if you're in India or wherever else, you're not able to access some of these things. But in a tokenized format, it's very easy for me to bring that to you, and you can do a lot more with it. You can put these assets to work via DeFi and earn yield and much more. So that's the direction, folks. This is a big power play here by Etoro. We know Robinhood is looking to do the same thing, right? They just had their big presentation about it. And I'll be interviewing actually Robinhood CEO Vlad Tenev on Thursday in person. So folks, make sure you're subscribed. I'm going to bring you all the details about what's happening, who's building, who's investing, and much more. So huge news here for Etoro. Now look at this. Peter Thiel's Founders Fund backed Plama has raised $373 million in an oversubscribed token sale, shattering its original $50 million target. The stablecoin focused Bitcoin sidechain will launch with $1 billion in stablecoins and offer fee-free transfers. So there's multiple takeaways here. One, look at the amount of capital they're raising. We are in a bull market. There are people very bullish, and Peter Thiel doesn't back just anything. You know he does his research. You know he does his homework. He's obviously part of the PayPal mafia. He was an early investor in Facebook, in Bitcoin, and much more. So this is a project to watch. I may look to add this in my portfolio in the bear market. Once again, do your own research, not financial advice. I have to do my research here, so I'm not saying just blindly go invest. But this may be one I'm looking at. Look at the amount of money they raise. Second, they're building a Bitcoin sidechain showing that the Lightning Network is not really working out here because no one wants to spend their Bitcoin. But if you attach some sort of stablecoin to the network, people will use stablecoins. Third, stablecoin race is heating up, right? Big players are getting involved. And once again, look at the capital they're raising. So let me give you some details. So the Plasma network will hold $1 billion in stablecoins at launch, which would make it the fastest blockchain to reach that figure and offer fee-free stablecoin transfers. The project has secured funding from prominent backers, including Peter Thiel's founders funds, and set to launch within 40 days with token refunds for overcommitted funds to be processed soon. So I'll try to get an interview with the founders and to talk a bit about it. But it looks like the token is XPL. So that's the token ticker, XPL. So the token launch is expected within 40 days. So I'm not going to be buying into any pump. I'm sure it's going to do really well, at launch, but I'm going to wait for the correction, right, folks? I don't buy pumps. I buy the blood on the streets, and I hope this is resonating with you and how you make money in markets. So Plasma, an Ethereum virtual machine compatible Bitcoin sidechain, aims to provide fee-free stablecoin transfers starting with Tether's USDT. So let's see how this plays out. This may be really big for Bitcoin, and they're using EVM. And they're using, it looks like, supporting different stablecoins, starting with Tether. So I'll try to get you guys the details in an interview. Now, speaking of the stablecoin competition and race, look at this. Interactive brokers reportedly looking into stablecoin issuance. My friends, go research Interactive brokers and you'll see how big this is. The biggest of the biggest on Wall Street, getting in multiple ways, adopting the technology, launching financial products, building with it. This is incredible. So Interactive Brokers Group is weighing the possibility of issuing a stablecoin, joining a wave of traditional finance firms expanding into digital assets. So founder and chairman Thomas Peterfy, if I'm saying that right, confirmed in an interview with Reuters that the company is exploring the idea but hasn't finalized how such a product would be rolled out. With a market cap nearing $110 billion, Interactive Brokers already facilitates crypto trading through partnerships with Paxos and Zero Hash. And it's now working on features like round-the-clock stablecoin funding for brokerage accounts and crypto asset transfers. My gosh, if you are bearish, I don't know what you're looking at. Maybe you're too caught up in the price, in the micro, right? The hourly to daily. You got to zoom out. The biggest of the biggest is here, and they're building massive infrastructure. And we're still in that phase where they're in their R&D process, their research and development, trial and error testing, right? And they're going to get there. They want this. They know this is the future. I've said it many times. The economies, the markets, and the governments will all be running on blockchain rails. That is what we're headed to. So incredibly bullish news here. Final news item, we have another publicly traded company that is going to be putting Bitcoin on its balance sheet. So publicly traded Zooz, if I'm saying that right, ZOOZ, announces private placement of $180 million to launch a Bitcoin Treasury. Apparently, Michael Arrington of Arrington Capital, he's going to be helping to facilitate this. But folks, the trend is growing, right? Now, one could argue there's a bit of a bubble forming here. I've talked about that ad nauseum, but this is where we're going to exit the market before these things start to collapse. And I'm not saying all of it will collapse. There will be winners that will come out of this, fine. But when you have everybody rushing in and they're raising all this capital, they're not just using the cash on their balance sheet, they're raising debt to buy the asset and hold the asset on their balance sheet and do the arbitrage with the stock price. When the bear market hits, we'll see who survives, right? It's as Warren Buffett has said, when the tide goes out, you see who's swimming naked. So We shall see what happens, but I will be exiting the market, taking my profits. So if something happens, look, I'm ready to back the truck up when it all crashes down again and there's blood, fear, and depression, right? Buy the blood on the streets, as they would say. So that is my strategy. Folks, let me know what you think about this news. Some incredibly bullish news. A great way you can support me in the podcast is by subscribing to my free email newsletter. It's 100% free. I put out a weekly newsletter filled with a ton of insights. And check out my book on Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital. And my course at mycryptocourse.com. This is a comprehensive course that teaches you every aspect of crypto. Knowledge is power. Expand your knowledge about this technology and what the hell is happening here. And what makes this course unique, it features expert commentary. No other crypto course offers this. You will hear from founders, CEOs, institutional investors, Wall Streeters, explaining what they're building. What are these things? For example, learn about tokenization from Carlos Domingo, the co-founder and CEO of Securitize. Securitize are the ones who helped BlackRock launch their tokenized money market fund, right? So no other course offers this. So check it out, folks. You pay a one-time fee, you get lifetime access. You can share the access with your friends and family if you want. No big deal. And I continue to update it with the latest information and new videos. It's packed with tons of value, write-ups, of course, downloadable materials. So check it out. Links to helpful resources as well. Cash out, crypto cash out templates, all that stuff is in here. So check it out. Go to mycryptocourse.com. All the links will be in the description. Folks, thank you so much for watching and listening. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.